Let's define what this Indic identity is. Now, if I were to define it, I would probably start at one of the famous sayings, the four Purusharths we all know: Kam, Arth, Dharma, and Moksha. Now, I prefer to talk about them in that order because they actually fit very well to human evolution. Kam is a fundamental that's built into all of us, the passion to move forward, the motive energy of creation and recreation. Artha is the material wealth that we need to sustain it. And then Dharma is a strange thing, and I'll come to that in a few moments. We have got so much confusion over what the word Dharma actually means. And I'm going to try and clarify that and maybe even draw a line in the sand and say, this is what Dharma means and everybody else is wrong. And we'll see how that is accepted or not. And then Moksha. And Moksha is something which doesn't exist as a concept in pretty much any other society with the clarity that we have it defined. So the heart of what we have received from our ancestors and rishis is that each of us opens our eyes here and finds ourselves in this construct. We go through to a point when we close our eyes, and in between we experience degrees of anand, joy, bliss. There are many names for it. But anand and the pursuit of anand is at the heart of every human activity. Nobody does something deliberately to experience suffering. There is an element of anand in pretty much every choice that we make. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, as Krishnaji tells us, even the joy that a gambler feels, that anand is anand. Now, the one thing about us is we have these four purusharthas all present. If you look at other societies, as I did, I found that Kam is present and they derive benefit and anand from Kam, as well as the pursuit of Artha, but Dharma is absent. And that's one thing that marks us as different in terms of our identity, the difference between those two. The other element of our vision was that we identified what a human being is better than anybody else has done. We turned attention outwards, and then we turned attention inwards, and we came up with this incredible vision, a darshan, that at the center of our being there is something, and it is Anand incarnated. And if you could place your attention there, then you would transcend all material boundaries and requirements, and moksha arises. That's a fundamental part of our identity. And one thing that's noteworthy in our traditions is that we do not have any toxic paramparas. A fundamental part of our identity is that we do not have othering going on. You may have a Hanumanji tradition in one group and then a Sri Ramchandraji tradition in another group. And there's no denigration, there's no vilification, there's no othering. It's an acceptance of another parampara as a valid route. And that's the limit of Sarva Dharma Sambhava. We have non-toxic, non-othering paramparas. Whenever we go to another nation, we know who we are, and we are living a Dharmic existence. And as long as what we're doing is contributing to the well-being of any society, we're really welcome. They love to have our output, they love to have our GDP, they want us to look after their elders in the hospitals, they want us to teach students and children in schools. All of those things are producing Kam and Arth for any society. And we do it as a Dharmic activity, which is why we thrive so quickly. Any society where we go to, whether it's somebody who goes from rural Punjab and goes to Canada or whatever, we work hard. We fit in, we understand what we need to do to succeed and to contribute. And we do it without any reference to the legal framework of any country. I mentioned in the UK we only have 379 people in prison. That leaves almost 1 million people who are living according to the rules of the nation without ever having studied a penal code. So there is something that we carry in our identity, which is the Dharmic aspect of what we are, and that's what defines us. But that is who we are. What I've done to start with is identify what the Indic identity is. Ultimate diversity, harmoniously interacting, civilizationally at a peak. Minimum suffering, maximum anand. And that's what attracted the other identities to Bharat. The Sone ki Chidiya idea was what appealed to those who were determined to get as much arth as possible. We had people who travelled by foot across land over months and across the oceans to find the other elements of wealth. What is it that is at the centre of our being?